was not motivated by anti-Semitism. A stunning reversal from the FBI. This after the agency suggested Saturday's attack on a Texas synagogue was not motivated by anti-Semitism. The FBI later backtracked on that and saying, quote, "This is a terrorism-related matter in which the Jewish community was targeted and is being investigated by the Joint Terrorism Task Force." Let's bring in Terry Turchi. He is the former Deputy Assistant Director for the FBI's Counterterrorism Division. Also joining us is Dov Hikind of Americans Against Anti-Semitism. Dov, let me first start with you. When you initially heard the FBI statement, what went through your mind? And then when they revised it, I'm sure that probably made you feel a little bit better.
Well, initially I was flabbergasted. I couldn't comprehend that the FBI would take that kind of position. It was almost as if they were blind and deaf and were not seeing what the rest of the world was seeing and listening to. When they changed their position, okay, that was the right position. But now I want to know, and I think everybody else, why did they take that position initially? Why would they do that? Was this about being politically correct? It sounds to me like there's a lot of politics these days within the FBI. They need to explain to us why they took that position.
Terry, you've had a lot of experience at the FBI, certainly counterterrorism. We've had, I just want to scroll through the screen here, just this recent FBI controversies. There's been many of them. And some of them have to do with warrantless surveillance, encryption cracking, that type of thing. But also, of course, during the Trump years, there was all of that. And then you also have this question about, remember, workplace violence, as Nasser was referred to by the White House back in the Obama administration. So from your perspective, what happened yesterday? And can you answer Dov's question about what the FBI was thinking when they initially put out that statement saying it had nothing to do with the Jewish faith?
I can certainly try. I think we saw yesterday the old and the new FBI. The old FBI is what we always think of when we think of the Bureau. We think of the ability to respond immediately to a situation like this, to put in hostage negotiators and SWAT teams, and to work through the night with what was obviously both ideological and emotional train wreck. And ultimately, the hostages left safely. And that's the old FBI. Sadly, this is one in a long line of examples, and there are a number of former agents that are speaking out about these things that does show and does indicate the FBI has taken a political turn and does things for political correctness. Yesterday, when they had that press conference and they made that initial statement, I was as flabbergasted as anyone else. But I will tell you this. That doesn't square with what an FBI special agent in charge would say. And I've been involved in those situations, and I have a terrible feeling that either some DOJ attorney on the scene or a press person from DOJ, or probably more realistically at FBI headquarters with liaison with DOJ, they added something like that and said, you're not going to talk much about this. You're going to add this statement to what you say and make sure you say it clearly. And we're going to move on. And we've seen this before. And you pointed out the Fort Hood shooting and the whole idea this is workplace violence. The other thing that bothers me about yesterday is kind of a delay. And I think they had overnight to figure out how they were going to deal with this. And why is that? Because this isn't the narrative that we've heard the last year. And this is the more dangerous thing. I think that they have been gung-ho to prove what we've heard since President Biden was inaugurated, and that is the real threat, the immediate threat to all of us is white supremacist and domestic terrorism and white hate. Now, that may always be there, but we have other things to worry about, and we ought to be following the trail and saying things that are factual based on what we have to deal with.
Let me allow Doug to have one last question here. Doug, when you think about all the synagogues across America, one of the things I thought was so interesting was how the rabbi yesterday said he had been trained. They had gone through drills. They knew what to do. How important is that? Because this problem, unfortunately, is certainly not eradicated.
Look, that is extremely important. But what a sad reality in our great country that we have to train. Every single synagogue has to protect itself against individuals who are filled with Jew hatred and would murder Jews and not think for a second. So yeah, all the training and all the money that's being spent, very important. But what a sad commentary. And what the FBI did was diminish from the war against anti-Semitism by confusing the situation. And I only can hope that we will hear an explanation. I mean, the Senate, the House, they cannot permit the FBI to get away with what they did. The person who made these remarks, you need to explain to the American people and to the Jewish community why you took that position.
I hear you there. And also we need to find out about the perpetrator's travel from the UK here. And also I understand that the UK authorities are talking to 2 teens possibly involved. Thank you both for your time. And
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.